The FNCS Showdown Cups are officially here, but we have so many other questions to answer as well. Like, who are Stable Ronaldo and Lacy going to be playing with? Which brand new trios do we have for this tournament? Who is not able to qualify? And so much more. We're going to do starts though. Please subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Please go K-Dog in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. Follow me on my Twitch, link in the description down below, because we're going to be watching the entirety of the finals for this tournament tomorrow. Make sure you guys just go drop a follow if you want to watch it with me. Without further ado though, let's start off this video with talking about who Ron and Lacy's potential FNCS options are. Alright, so let's start off with the tweet that Ron put out. He said, looking for a professional Fortnite player to play West FNCS with me and Lacy. This is real stuff we would do, not trolling. So basically he said what you would get if you play with him is you would get to play at the new Phase House during the competitive days. They are going to host them every time they play, and they're going to give them all of the prize money as well. And he says we just want to win. Now, first of all, I think the main thing with Ron and Lacy playing competitive is, are they actually going to stick to a schedule and grind to it? Like, I don't really expect these guys to want to be playing things like scrims. They definitely don't have their 14 tournaments requirement yet, so they're going to need to start queuing for some rank cups or other tournaments to at least get their tournaments up. And then the thing that I feel like is really just going to turn them off about playing in general though is having to make their way through Division 3 on West, which I just feel like is going to be one of the biggest stream sniper and cheater fests of all time. And then they're gonna have to play through Division 2 and then try to make it all the way into Division 1, which I'm not trying to say like Ron and Lacy are bad players or anything, but if they are not going to be getting a very decent pro that is going to be like able to carry them through the divisions, this is going to be a very difficult thing for them to do and actually get good content out of. I think, to be honest, the most smart thing that they could do is find a pro that will be willing to carry them into Division 1. They could 100% get like clicks, or maybe they could pay Peterbot to do it. And then if they're able to make it into Div 1, then play with just whatever pro that they want for FNCS. And if they're not able to make it into Div 1, then just say, hey, we tried our best, it just wasn't meant to be. Maybe they can queue up last chance qualifiers with some random person just for some fun, but they should 100% at least play with like a super good pro to get them through the divisional cups. And then if they make Div 1, then they can decide who they actually want to play with from there. Who are some fun potential options of people they can actually play with? We saw Mr. Savage tweet out yesterday that he was potentially thinking about playing with them, but then he ended up tweeting today and he said that he is just going to be staying on EU, which I do like the decision for him. I think the main thing with Mr. Savage is just what his actual priorities are going to be. If he wants to prioritize content, playing with Ron and Lacy is a no-brainer, but if he still wants to have the chance to be able to make it to globals for one final run, then him playing with Rezon and Chap is definitely the move. Because if we're just being real, I think a lot of us can probably agree that Ron, Lacy, and Mr. Savage probably have close to a 0% chance of being able to qualify to land from West. We've already seen a couple of different people respond to Ron's tweet though, like Looter, who is an OCE pro. I think the only way that Ron and Lacy are really going to have a chance to do something good on West FNCS is if they really are just playing with like a super good pro. And I think it needs to be a pro that can carry them as well. And I don't think at this point in Looter's career he would be able to do that. I feel like I can also just say the same thing for Blake, who said he was potentially down. I think if they want to go more of that content route, then playing with Bugha could be such a fun option. You know that Bugha has already said that he wants to play on West FNCS next season already with Craze and Okus. Bugha, Ron, and Lacy all already know each other. They all already have chemistry together, and you can't tell me that the content with those three wouldn't be one of like the most fun must-watch things on all of Twitch. There was also just a lot of other like tier 2, tier 3 pros that responded to it as well. I think if Ron and Lacy are not going to be able to find a super good pro, then they should 100% just find the best person for potential content for them. I think some of the most fun people to watch for content would definitely be somebody like Faxity. Like a Faxity, Ron, and Lacy trio would absolutely hit, and I guarantee you that Faxity would probably be down to at least try out for that as well. And then I feel like there is still a part of Mr. Savage that wants to still go that content route, and I wouldn't be surprised if he changed his mind, but as of right now it looks like he is just fully locked in to playing with Reason and Chap. But obviously we've seen Mr. Savage get dropped before from trios, and he has done crazier things in the past, like quite literally retire, so I wouldn't leave any of these options out of the window yet. Let me know who you guys think they should actually play with in the comment section down below, and let's actually move on to how the FNCS Showdown opens went now. All right, so we had a lot of brand new trios for this tournament. I'm just gonna read the whole list of them for you. This, of course, some of these guys are gonna be official and some of them are just for this week. So the first ones that we have is Ritual, Rapid, and Threats. And if you're wondering why that trio ended up forming, it is because Peterbot decided to play this week with Bugha and Craze. So I think most of this really went down because Cold obviously just wasn't gonna play this week. I don't know if he's still like in LA or something, or if he just decided not to play, but Peter wanted to play with Bugha, and then I just think he wasn't gonna play with Ritual this week either way, and so they ended up picking up Craze as their third. I was a little surprised that Peter didn't end up playing with Pollo this week. If you're wondering who Pollo played with, he ended up sticking with just his original trio of Acorn and Agers, and I honestly think when we get onto how they actually place today, these guys really should just be grinding as much as they can together, because they have just slowly been going downhill over the past couple of weeks, and I feel like they either have two options. One is either just keep grinding together throughout the season and try to get back to that form where they were once at, or they can just completely split up for this season, get back together next season, and hope the vibes are a little bit reset. We also have like Rise, Muzz, and Shadow, Tyler, Curve, Aviv, Bucky, Ocus, and Mason, and then Virgo, Victor V, and Paper. I feel like I do just gotta clarify this just for anybody that is confused. No, Peterbot is not like playing with Bugha for the rest of like FNCS and everything. This isn't going to be like the official trio forever. These guys are probably just gonna play this week for some fun, and then I wouldn't be surprised if Peter goes back and maybe we get like a Peter, Cold, and Pollo next week. That would be super fun to watch. Let's actually move on to everybody that was able to qualify though, and starting off with in first place was one of the brand new trios for this week of Ritual, Rapid, and Threats. Now they finished with 730 points, so they almost won the opens by 100 points. They won 4 out of their 9 matches, and I'm pretty sure they also finished with the most amount of elims, getting 178 total elims. It is super cool to see all kind of like the sidekicks get together and absolutely dominate in opens. It shows that they are still such crazy players even if they don't get enough credit for it. Second place is Scare, Edgy, and Chance on 657. Third is Dorito. Fourth is Wiggs. Fifth is Noisy, Creon, and Tony. Sixth place is the trio that is going to be playing West this season of Victor V, Virgo, and Paper. So yes, if you guys missed my first tournament video of the season, Paper is officially back and he is playing on West with Victor V and Virgo this season. Seventh is Snowy. Eighth is Kale. Ninth is L. And then rounding out the top 10 is Clicks, Higgs, and Iamzo on 586. They won 3 out of their 8 matches and got 152 total elims. If you guys are wondering, yes, these guys also were landing at the first order base for pretty much this entire tournament. So they have switched drop spots from Lone Wolf Lair to the first order base now. And if you're wondering, no, we unfortunately did not get to see any Peterbot versus Clicks off spawn today because Peter was going Seaport, since that is Bugha's drop spot. Maybe sometime in the future we can hopefully see a Peterbot versus Clicks off spawn, but as of right now, it did not happen. Some other big names we had that was able to qualify was like 11th place of Muzz, Shadow, and Rise. That is a brand new official trio that is trying out, so I'm very excited to see how they can actually do in the set lobby finals tomorrow. 16th place, one of our land qualified teams, the trio that just got 3rd place in last grand finals of Reek, Cooper, and Curly. Another trio right under them that also qualified for land of Visuals, Braids, and Diminished, Bucky, Ocus, and Mason finished in 19th, G-Money, Bolts, and Osid in 20th. If you guys also didn't know, Kanata is not playing this entire season. He is going to be on a vacation all the way up until June, so we will not get to see any Kanata, Bolts, and Sphinx. And also, as of right now, just for this week, we're not going to get to see any Sphinx and Bolts play together, but I like this as a fill trio for Bolts. Money and Osid are such insane players. And then being able to qualify by just 13 points in 27th place, we have the trio of Peterbot, Bugha, and Craze. Now these guys finished with 534 total points, won 1 out of their 10 matches, and got 146 total elims. If you watched any of this tournament, you know that it was kind of sleeper to watch. There is no elo in this tournament, and it is also open to Division 2 players as well. So a lot of the top level pros are just able to absolutely run through this with basically no problems at all. There is like no stacked end games or anything. If you're watching the background footage, you could probably tell that. And then like I was saying earlier in the video, the trio that was definitely the most disappointing today on NA, finishing in 488th place, only getting 221 points in 9 total matches, was the trio of Agers, Acorn, and Pollo. Now, I don't even really know necessarily how I feel about this trio right now. I feel like the vibes just gotta be so cooked for them right now. They're coming off of getting 5th place in last grand finals, which is already an underachievement, and then they're starting off this season not even finishing in the top 100. This trio really needs to lock in, because I'm not gonna lie, the future does not look so bright for these guys going into not only next season, season, but also the global championships as well. Because I feel like the excuse for these guys was always, oh, Acorn and them just always lock in during grand finals. They're all just grand finals players. But then after literally getting 5th place in last grands, I don't know how much I can use that as like a bailout excuse for them performing poorly. I want this trio, and I know they can compete for an FNCS championship every single season, but as of right now, they are just not necessarily showing us why we should be putting them inside of the top 2 on NA. Moving on to my actual top 5 predictions though, starting off with in 5th place, I'm gonna go with the trio of Muzz, Rise, and Shadow. Now yes, this is a brand new team, but if you look at the actual map that I'm going to put up on the screen, and I am just going based off of what it currently is, obviously this could change, but I mean the finals are literally tomorrow, so I don't expect it to change like a crazy amount, but there is so many big name teams that are contested that I wanted to put inside my top 5. Like I desperately wanted to put Visuals, Braids, and Diminish there, but they are currently contested at Crime City, so I'm going to start off with Muzz, Rise, and Shadow in 5th. 4th place, I'm going to go with the team that I also wish I could put so much higher on this list, but they are also contested at Mass Meadows currently, and that is the trio of Threats, Ritual, and Rapid. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled off a top 3, but I think it is going to be a little bit difficult to do, especially while contested. And then my top 3 is just all 3 trios that are currently fully unconned, and they're all also people that literally placed top 3 last season as well. So starting off with in 3rd place, I'm gonna go with the trio that just qualified for LAN, the team that placed 3rd place in last grand finals of Recooper and Curly. I think these guys could 100% pull off a top 2 though. They have looked so insane recently, and then the top 2 is just what I feel like are potentially the 2 best trios in this lobby, and they are fully uncontested. 2nd place though, this might come as a surprise to some of you guys, but I'm gonna go with the trio of Peterbot, Bugha, and Craze. Now if you're wondering like, oh, how do I not have Peterbot in 1? I just simply do not think that this is a better trio than the real team that I have in 1st place that you guys can probably guess, but I'll talk about in a little bit. I think that this team is still super good, and they do still obviously have winning potential since they have the best player on the world in their team, but I don't think that this is anywhere near going to be a better trio than the team that honestly should win this tournament by a good amount of Clicks, Iamzo, and Higgs. These guys are literally coming off of getting 2nd place in grand finals. They have the most chemistry out of anybody in this entire lobby, and they have the best drop spot on the entire map, completely uncontested currently. I think if you predict anybody else besides Clicks in 1st place, you're kind of just a hater. Let me know you guys' own top 5 though in the comment section down below, and let's actually move on to how EU went now. Now in EU, it was a very similar story. We got to see so many different trios. The points were so high to qualify. In 1st place though is your reigning, defending FNCS champions of Venya, Pixie, and Marius. They finished with 764 points, won 4 out of their 7 matches, and finished with the most amount of elims in this entire tournament, getting 185 total elims. Their match history was so disgusting for how consistent they were. They got an average placement of 2.2 in this. Their match history was a 11 elimination 4th, which was their worst game of the day. Then they got a 32 elimination win, 30 elimination 2nd, 37 elimination win, 25 elimination win, 26 elimination win, and a 24 elimination 6th. The FNCS champs are trying to continue to show us why they deserve to be the best team in all of EU. 2nd place is Rakuzan, Mappy, and Momsy on 699. 3rd is Akira, Kurma, and Warex. 4th was Frisk, Tayson, and Chicho, one of our LAN qualified teams. We also have to make sure we're paying attention to all of those LAN qualified teams on EU as well. 5th place is Pink, Nebs, and Kiro. So these guys are deciding to stay together after getting, I'm pretty sure, 10th place in last grand finals. They finished with 642 points, won 3 out of their 10 matches, and got 174 total elims. 6th place is one of our first brand new trios that we get to see here. And this team is honestly one of the coolest trios I think I've seen, and it is the trio of Vico, Malabuka, and Ferdoxy. It was kind of crazy just looking at this trio because we know all of the drama they had last season with Vico, Vino, and Flixie contesting Malabuka, when if they didn't do that, he was pretty much guaranteed to win FNCS. And so them now playing this season together, I'm not 100% sure if this is just for this week or if this is going to continue to be the team for the rest of the season as well. I would honestly love to see that. This is such a cool combination of players, but they finished with 636 points, won 3 out of their 10 matches, and tied for the 2nd most elims in this tournament, getting 174. 7th place is Burke, Clapsy, and Zane. 8th is Dinas, Gross, and Frantic. 9th is Walks, Robon, and Axe Force. So yes, Wux was still playing this tournament with his new trio for just this season of Robon and Axe Force, and then rounding out the top 10 was Cringe, Volko, and Kidduo on 601. Of course, though, we did have a lot of other big names that were able to qualify, like 11th place, not an official team, but just a fill trio for this week of Chap, Maxi, and Rezon. So if you guys are a little bit concerned, no, Rezon and Chap did not drop Mr. Savage. Mr. Savage is actually going to a concert for today, so he would not be able to play in this tournament. So Chap and Rezon ended up filling with Maxi, and they were still able to qualify, finishing with 599 points, winning 4 out of their 8 matches, and getting 129 total elims. Super impressive day from them. I don't think that this tournament performance alone is going to need to be enough to want to drop Mr. Savage for Maxi. I guess depending on how they actually do in their finals tomorrow, then maybe we could start having some conversations, but I just think Mr. Savage, Chap, and Rezon are pretty locked right now, and this is just going to be a fill team for this week. And then we had the other brand new trio for this season in 16th place of Shark, Vino, and Flixie. They finished with 576 points, won 2 out of their 10 matches, and got 154 total elims. I'm so excited to see how this team is actually going to do in a finals lobby tomorrow. Shark was honestly fragging like absolutely crazy a couple of their games today. All 3 of these players are such good fighters, and I really do just like the dynamic of all of these different EU teams getting together for this season. Really cool to see some team shakeups. We also had like Moneymaker in 18th, Thomas HD, Upland Panzer in 27th, and that was about it for all of these super big names that were able to make it into finals. So we do unfortunately have a couple of trios just outside that top 33, like 45th place of Seti, Hari, and Cammy. They finished with 529 points. It seems like if you look at their match history, they just learned the format a little bit late. They really weren't W keying this tournament until the end of it, and we know they're already not the best fighting team in general, so this format is really just not necessarily a Cammy and Seti format. We had iDrop Sky and Scroll in 52nd, Pigstar Mandemus, the trio that just got 3rd place in last grand finals, in 53rd, and then we have a brand new confirmed trio that is actually trying out for FNCS in 71st place of Vidil, Rax, and Yanis. They finished with only 464 points, only won 1 of their 10 matches, and got 129 total elims. They just really weren't able to find any super real consistency, and they're honestly not even like the craziest W key team either, so it just wasn't necessarily the best tournament from them all around. And if you're wondering how like Margot did not play in this tournament, and we still really have no clue who his actual trio is going to be yet either. And I almost completely forgot, we also had 91st place of Swizzy, Queasy, and Merstash not be able to qualify as well. These guys really also just couldn't find any real consistency, and we've already seen Queasy tweet out now, and he said need 2 for next week or 1 with Merstash. I'm not 100% sure what is actually going on with this trio, if these guys are going to be like sticking together for this season, or if they want to try some new things out. Obviously we see they're not going to be playing next week together. I think this is just how tournaments are going to be on EU this season. Don't be surprised if all of these guys switch up teammates, and with the teams that do bad in the finals tomorrow, it's just going to be absolute chaos all season long. Now after looking at this map, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have no clue where I want to go with my top 5 predictions. I think I'm just going to try to pick what I just feel like are some of the best teams in this lobby, and not worry too much about the actual people contesting, because this is going to be a real trial week of which teams are actually better off spawn. So starting off with, in my 5th place spot, I think I'm gonna go with the trio of Pink, Nebs, and Kuro. They're coming off of getting 10th place in last grand finals. They literally placed like 2nd place in the last Cash Cup of the season, while they were contested as well, I'm pretty sure. I know they are currently contested, but I literally have no clue how that off spawn situation is gonna go, so I'm gonna leave them in my 5th place spot. 4th place, I'm gonna go with the trio of Thomas HD, Upland Panzer. This team was just 1 spot off of being able to qualify for globals last season. They're sticking together, but they are currently contested off spawn as well. And then in 3rd place is another trio that I have that is currently contested, and this is going to be the first week that we get to see Vino, Shark, and Flixie versus Tayson, Hriss, and Chicho. I think a lot of us could probably just make the assumption that Vino, Shark, and Flixie are just better fighters than Tayson's trio. Obviously Tayson's team is nothing to slouch at either. They quite literally did just qualify for globals last season, but I just don't know how good they're actually going to do fighting off spawn versus Vino, Shark, and Flixie. And then the top 2 is the 2 best teams in this lobby that are both uncontested. In 2nd place, I'm gonna go with the trio of Vico, Malabuka, and Ferdoxy. If we're wondering like, oh, how do I not have them in 1st place? It's mainly just the chemistry thing, and they just really have never played a set lobby finals with all 3 of them together. Obviously the pure talent on this team and the fighting ability is always going to be there, but I just need to see how they're actually going to do in a set lobby finals together. And then in 1st place, I think think if you put anybody there besides the FNCS champions of Venya, Pixie, and Marius, then your prediction is pretty bold. So I'm gonna lock it in, put them in my 1 spot, and I really wouldn't be surprised if they do pull off the week 1 Cash Cup win. Other than that though, we had a lot of information in today's video. Let me know what you guys think about everything we went over in the comment section down below. Remember, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, as we try our best to upload daily competitive content for you guys. Please go K-Dog in the Fortnite item shop if you guys want to support me even more. YouTube says they enjoy 1 of these 2 videos up on the screen right now, so go check them out if you guys haven't already. Follow me on my Twitter at ChiliKDog to keep up to date with everything to do with Fortnite competitive. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.